remember, like Bob Clark.
Rob Clark, and Joe Bordelli.
Watch the debate. I'm so tired of people saying, oh, did you watch the debate? You know what you could debate, dude? You could debate these nuts. Ha! Got 'em.
In the heart of Dallas, where legends unfold, a tale of shadows, mysteries untold, where truth is obscured in the depths of the night. The Lone Gunman Podcast sheds a flickering light.
Section 107 of the Fair Use Act of 1976 provides protection to use copyrighted material for research, analysis, education, and commentary purposes. We here at Loose Moose Productions reserve that right. Now, on with the show. Here's Joe B and the Triple B. Hey, Aunt Udine, how's things in Texas?
Everything is going to hell down here in Texas.
Hands on Triple B and Joe B. Joe B and the Triple B, baby. Triple B and Joe B. Rock on and Joe Morelli. Triple B and Joe B. Joe B and the Triple B, baby. Triple B and Joe B. Rock on and Joe Morelli. And here we go.
And here we go.
What is going on, Joe? Gayle's sideways. I'm off the screen, and you are perfect as usual. What in the hell is going on?
Yes.
Hold on. Let me fix my eyeball here.
It is rare I am perfect, but hopefully my audio is working well tonight, guys. And we had a little scare pre-show in terms of my audio. Oh, there, Gayle is back. Hi, Gayle.
Hi there. Uh-oh. Sorry.
Here I am.
Sorry.
It's okay.
They think I'm saying hello to somebody coming in the house. I am so Rob. How are you, Rob?
Hello, Gayle. Welcome.
I am sorry. I don't have a mic or a camera on my computer. You know why, don't you? I'm such a narcissist. I would look at myself all day doing all that. No, that's not true. None of that's true.
Well, you sound great. You look great. It doesn't matter. We'll take you any way we can get you.
Okay, well, my husband's yelling at my dogs, so if you hear that in the background, that's what that is. Getting them out of the bedroom. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was going to be on camera. I thought I was just going to be my rambling self, you know?
I know. We started doing the show live on YouTube last year, and we, just figured, hey, let's do it. And it so far is going great. It's not just the audio thing. I mean, it still is audio as well on certain streams.
But you can see all the it's too I can see everything wrong with myself. Yeah, Hey,
you look fantastic.
No,
I don't see anything wrong.
I swear I wasn't fishing. I am trying to say I apologize to your viewers and listeners beforehand. That's all. I don't want you to lose one viewer or listener because of me.
Oh no. We have a very good base here, and they are excited that you're going to be on the show.
All right, there's my dog. See, Walt Brown would be so happy. But me, do you see him?
Yes,
we do.
What a handsome boy.
He is. He's his daddy's boy.
And Gayle, I just rescued a dog about 6 weeks ago. Let me see if I could do this here. I'm surprised she didn't.
I'm so proud of you for doing that. Oh no!
Do you want to know what her? I'm not looking at Rob, but I could feel him rolling his eyes. Do you know what I named her?
Oh, you don't like dogs, Rob?
No.
It's the name, Gayle. It's the name.
What is it?
Brace yourself for this.
Ruby.
Rudy.
Ruby.
Oh, that's my birthstone. All right, just say you named it after Gayle's birthstone. There, do that.
Okay,
yes, not Jack Ruby.
I know.
Gail's birthstone.
I know. I was trying to.
I know. I did actually. So I rescued it from China, her from China, and the name was Cooper, but she's a girl. So I was thinking of it didn't make sense.
Wait. What did you say about China?
I rescued her from China.
You were in China and got the dog?
No, one.
You're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Yes.
That's Haiti. That's not China, is it?
One of
Trump, so why would you believe
they
it?
eat them there too.
Oh God, I should not have said that. I'm sorry.
No
politics, sex, religion. Go, Joe.
It's
you
okay.
named Ruby, why?
Just so one of the rescue places, my mom knows a friend that rescues dogs from China, and they had named her Cooper. Maybe they didn't understand the difference between a male American name and a female American name, and like as a joke, before I got her, I asked our community like what the name should be, and we had a couple names, but Ruby is kind of a girl's name, and it has a JFK kind of thing, but it's also kind of a dog's name. We wanted 2 syllables. Not that I named her after Jack Ruby, but it
you just liked Ruby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or your birthstone. I like that.
And Mr. Clark says, and no. Is that how it goes? What is it? Rob, why do you not like Ruby?
I roll my eyes every time because he always has to show the dog off.
I don't blame him. That makes him lovable, Rob. It does. Anybody who loves animals is a good person. I
Everybody loves Joe. That's what I'm just going to change the name of the show to. Just everybody loves Raymond. And no, everybody loves Joe.
Everybody loves you, Rob. You're the smart guy too. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, look who's here now. Watch. Look. See that?
Oh
yeah. All perked up.
Okay, see, I'm never alone. Ever. So all right. You guys,
we had a hell of a cold open here.
I'm on this. I am so sorry. I hope I haven't ruined everything already. I'm going to shut up and let you go.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Gayle came in as we're doing the intro, so we didn't really have time to talk before this. So the whole intro went sideways. But anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All good. It's all good. So Gayle Nix Jackson is joining us. She is the granddaughter of Orville Nix, who took the famous Dealey Plaza film, the Nix film. She is also the author of 2 books. And we are delighted to finally have her here on the Lone Gunman podcast after all these years. You're finally
I thought
here.
I'd done it before, Rob. I don't know why I thought I had.
I think we did Doug's show together, or we did together. We did something together. Maybe
a lot of
times.
times.
I don't know. Yeah,
back in the day. Long
You've
time
just never been on here. Yeah.
I'm out of touch, guys. I don't know JFK gossip. I don't know. Like, okay, I have only heard, and I don't even know if I should say this, y'all. I will. I don't know who Fred Litwin is. I don't know him. But I keep hearing these things like, oh my God, Fred Litwin's going to be at Lancer. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with him? I don't know. I am not as involved as I was before because, I'm kind of fighting the government. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so okay. So can y'all help me, or is it not
Fred?
To do that?
Yeah, Fred's been on the show on my show like 4 times. He's a lone nutter though.
Like Steve, like my friend Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, but is he nice like Steve
as well? Yeah, I don't have any problem with Fred. And he's written 4 books. He does he does a lot of research. I will say he backs his stuff up with some documents and things like that. But he's very Gerald Posner-esque in the way that he picks and chooses things that support his theories and not delve.
So he doesn't take the whole spectrum. He's a cherry picker.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Exactly. Great description. But again, I think Larry invited him to speak at Lancer this year, as Gayle will be speaking at Lancer this year, as Joe will be speaking at Lancer this year, and Doug will be speaking at Lancer this year.
How come? Where are you, Rob?
I will not be. I'm taking a break this year, Gayle.
What?
I'm taking a little break.
What?
Yeah, take a little break.
Wait. What do you mean you're taking a little break? Are you going to write a book?
I do a presentation every week on here, basically.
Well, so people like to hear you and hear what you have to say, and that's bad. Why?
No, it's not bad. I mean, there might be something happening in the background that we don't that I wasn't ready to do yet. But there's always next year, right?
I'm being nosy, aren't I? I'm
God
just
willing.
being nosy.
It's okay.
This is why I'm a researcher. This is why I do what I do. You got to get to the onion core.
Yes.
You're writing a book, aren't you,
right.
Rob? And if you're not, why are you not?
Maybe I might possibly be.
I'm volunteering services of mine if you ever need them.
Okay, you can be my proofreader.
I would happily do that for you.
Okay, awesome.
And I won't critique. I unless you ask me to, and then I will.
No, that's definitely what I would want. I mean, that's the reason I have Lone Nutters on here too. I've had Steve on the show before.
That's right. See, Rob, this is why I love you and Doug. That it is. Why do people think that critical thinking is a bad thing? Why has that become such a bad thing? When did that happen? I missed it. I missed the whole freaking woke critical thinking is bad vote. When did that happen?
Well, some of them you can talk to and have a conversation with. Some of them are cuckoo and crazy, but some of us on this side of things are cuckoo.
Oh
and
yeah.
crazy.
Oh,
and cherry pickers as well.
Yeah.
For
You're
sure.
Right.
It's not only the lone nut side, for sure.
It's true. It is. Oh my gosh. This is why, Rob, I get it that you're taking a break. I did it in 92 and I'd only been doing it for 4 years. At that point, I was like, oh my God, these people are, oh my God. And at that time, wow. I mean, that was Gary Mack and Robert Groden and Jones Harris and David Lifton and Mark Lane and they're all.
A lot of them people did not get along.
I know, and I was the one that was navigating between them all. You know what I mean? I mean, because I just say it because I'm from Texas. I just go, yeah, this is it. Yeah, You
were the liaison.
I don't do the PC stuff very well. I forget that I need a filter. You know what I mean?
I'm right there with you.
You don't need one on this show.
Not on YouTube.
Yeah, you don't need one on this show.
I don't know. My lawyer might disagree. I mean, he might go, Gayle, what is the matter with you? Shut up. Yeah, but that's all right.
All right, so let's get you a proper.
Can I say this though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just said I don't like to be politically correct because I don't want to offend anyone, but sometimes you do when you don't mean to. And if you pray, guys, please pray that the judge does the right thing. And if you don't pray, would you just please ask the universe to get it straight? Because y'all, if the judge does the right thing on this, it opens up a door for all of us. I mean, for not just me. I mean, but for everyone, because they're going to have to say that they took this and why. You know what I mean?
Well, briefly, Gayle, there's probably a lot of people here who have no idea what in the hell is going on. So,
I'm sorry.
If you could just give us the brief nutshell of course, you wrote this book back in 2016, 2017.
Look at the graphics you guys have. 2014. Actually, I wrote it in 2013. Yeah. Okay. It's old. Yeah. It's old.
Yeah. So this is Gayle's book. You can find it on Amazon. And it's all about her search for the missing original Nix film, correct?
Right.
And it was in the possession last of our government, if I'm not mistaken.
At the House Select Committee.
Yes, and it came up missing. Then it was never given back to the family.
Right. And I was told from that time on, we don't have it, or we don't know where it is. And then told, well, yeah, you do have it, because you read the House Select Committee, the indices of the book, and you see there's the original film. I mean, even if I was a dork and didn't know how to do any research and didn't understand the law I mean, that's just self-evident to anyone. I mean, who sees that, right?
Yeah.
And don't you think it's odd? First off, for years, you guys, I was just proud to be Papa's granddaughter, because my dad would show our copy of the film at our history classes every year, you know, and all the kids thought it was all so cool. But my grandfather, my grand, well, I won't go into how he was treated and stuff. I know how proud he was to be an American. I know how proud he was to do the right thing. Right thing, and he died in 72, and he didn't know his film was missing, so God took care of him that way. Anyway, when I did find out it was missing, I went through, I've spoken with sheikhs in Dubai. I've spoken to Vincente Fox in Mexico. I mean, because I got this kind of information from UPI and from the DOJ and from the National Archives that maybe it was used as barter for some, and I was like, you're bartering my grandfather's film to other countries? That doesn't make sense to me. Why? I mean, what is going on here? And since that time, it's hard for me to trust the government. It's hard for me to trust anyone. I mean, it really is. Because you're born to be proud to be an American and to be proud for the things that we do, but then you find out that your country's been lying to you, and you know what I mean? It's very disconcerting. And so, is it nefarious or is it just ineptitude? Which is it? I mean, I don't know.
Well, we ran into the same problem last year when we were digging into John T. Martin.
Oh yeah, I bet you
and
did.
His film.
Yeah,
and you know, he supposedly turned over his original to the Sixth Floor Museum in 2007. Okay, but that copy has the date on it, and it's 1977. So somebody in 1977 made a copy of that film
switcheroo?
And did the old switcheroo on him and gave him back a film that he thought was the camera original, and it's not.
Okay. I'm going to suggest something. I will do it for you if you want me to. If you don't want to, I know I have a lot of friends that are lone nutters, I guess is what you call them. I hate all these stupid labels. I hate them. But Dave Perry was dear friends with Gary Mack, and he's a friend of mine. I mean too, and I can ask him if he knows if Gary. I mean, that's how it would have to have been, right?
Yeah,
right.
So John T. Martin handed the film over to Gary Mack at that time and said, "Here, I'll give you this film. It's the original. Here's what the parameters are. You don't give anyone my information. Don't contact me anymore. I'm done with this whole thing. Here you go." And then once the Sixth Floor got online back in the early 2000s, they put it up. But even in their description on their website of the film, it clearly says that the film has the date on the film, 1977. So obviously it got switched out during the HSCA deal. And, you know, we know who was kind of in charge of the films and photographs during the HSCA, who had access to them.
Go ahead and say it. You don't want to. You want me to do it? Okay. So I'll do it. So David Lifton would say to me over and over and over. I swear, y'all, at least once a week, if not 4 or 5 times a week, he'd call me. Go, Gayle, Robert Groden has your film. I am telling you, he got it at the House Select Committee. He da. All right. So I hear all these rumors. There's no truth to. They're rumors. All right. And my husband and I we go to Robert Groden's house when he lived in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, wherever, up there somewhere. And his wife at the time and his kids were there. And I asked her first because Daryl, my husband, was talking to Robert. And I went in and talked to his wife, and I said, okay, I hate to do this because y'all know me. You know what I do. I mean, I hate, and if I ever say that to y'all know it's a big one coming. You know, if I say, I'm sorry, I hate to do this, but all right. Does Robert have my film? I mean, I knew if I ask a wife, you know what I mean, or a girlfriend, they're not going to lie. You're going to watch it in their face. However they handle that whole, And this is what she did, Rob and Joe. This is what she did. She went and looked down at the ground. So that was enough for me to go in there to where Robert was and go, okay, Robert, do you have my film? Gayle, I don't. And y'all, I have to take his, I mean, it's between him and God if he's going to lie to me about I believe him.
Right.
I mean, why would he lie? You know what I mean? Why? And he knows I've been looking for it all these years. So he also told my lawyer that I was the nastiest woman he had ever met. I don't think I am. Am I? Am I? If I am, someone tell me.
No, Gayle, I can attest to that. And I went to Lancer for the first time last year, having no experience in the research community whatsoever. And you were one of the nicest people to me.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
And that's not an exaggeration at all. And let me throw this up really quickly if you can see it. This is a picture of us last year.
Oh yeah, that's us.
About an hour after meeting each other.
Yeah.
Not long, and I felt like I know you for 10 years.
Yeah. My friends say,
screensaver.
My friends, oh, stop it. My friends say, oh my God, Gayle, you can talk more than anyone I know. Yeah, I guess I can. My husband just came and yelled at me and goes, don't talk about the case. I didn't talk about the case, did I? I didn't.
No. Look, I've posited the same thing, Gayle, about the Martin film. You know, it's like, we know we had access to all this stuff. And look, at the time, given
very people knew
on, okay, and given who he is and his interest in everything, and given the access that he was given to a lot of this stuff, I asked myself, would I have done the same thing? Would I have made copies of all this shit? You know what I mean?
You know you would have.
Probably
You know you would have been. I know you would have
Right.
been honest about it.
Yeah,
Right?
I wouldn't take camera originals though. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
you wouldn't try and prove it. Say they're yours. I mean, Beverly Oliver did that.
what?
Beverly Oliver did that. And
Oh, I thought you said she just died. I was like, what?
oh no. She did. Is my phone? Is it that bad? Is it?
No.
My
I
phone?
just
Okay.
misunderstood there briefly.
No, she did it. Who told me? I think it was David Reese Jones. Now he's passed away. And he said, Gayle, you got to go watch this. And she was doing a presentation in the city of Allen, and up there doing the Beverly thing she does. And she goes, oh, and here's my film. And it runs across the screen, and guess whose film it is, you guys? It's my grandfather's, and she's telling everybody that it's hers. And I'm thinking, do these people even know the JFK assassination? I mean, don't they? Sorry, guys. Don't they know that? I mean, it's our.
There's a lot of gullible. There's a sucker born every minute. You know.
Do y'all see those notifications I get?
No.
On my phone? Oh,
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, so I am not the most well-liked person in the JFK community because I say something about it. Like I said, Beverly, cease and desist. How can you say that is your film? If your film, oh my God, if you had a film, it would have been better than Zapruder, Nix, much more, whatever, rolled into one because you would have had it right there. You can see you in the Much More film, which is just like my grandfather's film, Beverly. It is not you. It is not your film. And it makes me wonder if she's even, I mean, you're right. I mean,
Right.
when you know what you
And she
saw.
claimed to be the babushka lady.
Right.
Right.
And that upsets people in the community because they believe, and I just go on who I interview and what they say and what they do, and that's the way I look at it. I mean, it may not be what everybody else sees, but it's what I see, you know? So doesn't make me
quick, Gayle, real
popular.
quick.
Okay, sorry.
I just want to show everybody a little 25 second clip of a copy of the Nix film.
Yeah, go. You can
That
do
way
it.
everybody knows exactly what we're talking about here, and
Okay.
then we can talk about why it's kind of important.
Okay.
So here, folks, is the Nix film. We'll be back in 25 seconds.
All
There's a
right,
lot going on.
that's a Groden copy, and it's a good one, and it has been
Yeah.
what Gary and Robert Groden named. Actually, I think it was Gary Mack's wife at the time. Called it Groden scoping, and you know that it's Groden's because first off, when my grandfather was taking the film, he's running, right? So it looks like the original looks like the can't even talk limousine is going uphill like in the Alpines or something because my grandfather has it at his waist and he was so tall. So the way he was running and holding it, it looked like it was going up, up and so Groden fixed it where it looked more level and you could tell it because the hair's in it. That's how you know. That's how you know.
Yeah.
That's his copy.
So your grandfather was kind of standing on the corner of like Houston and Maine.
Right.
That's
At the beginning.
At the beginning. That's how he caught the limo turning the corner there, and they're heading for the school book depository. And then what he does is he immediately turns around and starts running across towards the plaza. Right. And captures what he captures, kind of on the opposite side as where Zapruder's standing and filming.
Right.
So we're getting like the other side of the Zapruder film. And I know in your book you go into all this stuff, and they refer to the film as a nuisance film.
Oh yeah, yeah. They do.
It's one of those where, because we know all the hoopla of the Zapruder film, and they got that, and they were happy they didn't want anything else. Do we pay this guy anything for this film, or just give him something to make him go away?
And Papa, my grandfather's film, they didn't even know it existed till a week after the assassination, and no one even knew because my grandfather, being the frugal man, I didn't get that, Gene. I bet he's a very frugal man, and my grandmother said, Orville, you are spending way too much money on film. It's costing more than my nylons to work at Wyatt's cafeteria. You use all that film. So what he did, he went to the football game the very next weekend because they canceled all the football games the weekend that Kennedy was assassinated. And so he went and took South Oak Cliff game and used the other side of what was left of his film. He also went back the next day after the assassination to show my grandmother where he had been standing and the hurt sign and everything. I mean, he just... The reason why he ran across the field part is because he saw Ralph Yarbrough and he hated Ralph Yarbrough. He couldn't stand him. And he was like, oh my. And so he ran across. He wanted me and my sister, probably my brother, but really me and my sister to see Jackie. Yeah, that's what he wanted, and that's why he ran across there. But he said they were dive bombing all around him. And he knew that it was shots, but he didn't know where they were coming from other than the stockade fence. And I said, Papa, you don't think anything came from the 6th floor? I mean, well, it wasn't that then. It was the school book depository, And he said, oh, no, they came from the stockade fence. And I said, and he goes, it wasn't 3 shots. It was 4 or 5. I mean, he was one of the men that said, or one of the witnesses that said it was more than 1 shot. I mean, 3 shots. You know what I mean? So...
Well, that was a question we were going to have for you. We let our big supporters here ask a question of our guests, and of course, his question was, where did he think the shots come from, and how many shots? Which you just answered. So
oh, good.
You're telepathic. Yes, that's the question from Jack. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jack. And Gail, I'm going to ask: did your grandfather have a familiarity with guns and or hunting?
Not really. Not really. I mean, my grandfather thought of himself, and as a little kid, I remember saying this to him. You know how in the Brat Pack, how Dean Martin and Peter Lawford and they would wear their little fedoras and walk around in their shark skin suits looking cool for the women. And I remember my grandfather was very charismatic and very friendly, and the women loved him. And they would come and bring him cakes, and my grandmother would answer the door and just take it. And Orville, this woman brought you a cake, and I'm like, wow. I mean, I always thought that was weird when I was a little kid, but no, he wasn't your typical. The Texans in my family that I knew, it ran the gamut from people maybe who didn't have much of an education. My grandfather only had a 4th grade education, but then I had an uncle that was a chiropractor. So, I mean, it was just a mishmash of people, and you get to know the differences in the way people act. And I know that sounds terrible, but it's true. And my grandfather just was very sincere, and it wasn't a liar. I guess that's the biggest thing I can think of when I talk about him. He didn't brag
Is
about
he
his
ever in the
golf.
service at
No.
all? No.
No.
Huh.
No. He couldn't because my uncle, my grandfather's younger brother, had epilepsy and would have seizures all the time, and he had to quit school. My grandfather did, to pick cotton to help support the family because there was an illness in it, and with my Uncle Edward, and yeah, it was a different time, you guys. And I think everybody forgets that part, that the history of the time and the way that people perceive things, it is nothing like what politically maybe. I mean, that was Walker and Surrey and flying the flag upside down, and Surrey being the secretary of the American Nazi Party. Are you serious? And these were Democrats, y'all. That's what these were. It doesn't sound that way anymore, does it? I mean, you see the Nazi crap and stuff at different, not the Democratic rallies. At least I haven't. Have you guys?
I don't think they would fly today at all.
It does fly. It was at Charlottesville down there at UVA when they had those Nazis down there.
Yeah, but
they were there.
I'm just talking like at a presidential rally, something like that. But yeah, like with people just turning up to demonstrate or whatever, you're going to get all kinds. You're going to get neo-Nazis, if that's what you want to call them. You're going to get all kinds of people that just love to argue.
Yeah, that's true too. And they're just lonesome and want to have their voice heard.
They want to stir up some shit every once in a while, and
But don't y'all think that adds to the dissonance? I mean, it adds to the disinformation, and adds to. It's just more white noise. Nothing comes of it. No one does anything. They get a kernel of truth, and they have a chance to take it somewhere and elevate it, and no one does it. Why, y'all? Why? Is it too hard to do these days, or I'm on a soapbox and I didn't mean to be. I'm sorry. I get all philosophical.
The people back then didn't have a lot of. Today we have a lot of distractions.
Mm-hmm.
People don't have a lot of time to just do this shit anymore. It's like, do I want to rush home after work? Do I have to mow the yard? Do I have to make dinner? Do I have to, give the kids a bath? Do I need to do this? But back then it seemed like people had all the time in the world. They didn't have cell phones, computers. You might have had 2 channels on your TV if you had a TV. And people were much more political, I think. Really,
I think so too. I remember political meetings at my house.
Like these days, like people would actually sit around and talk about it,
right.
Back then, and
without wanting to kill each other. Too,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, when JFK came to Dallas, of course, he had people flying the Confederate flag, saying, that they didn't like him. Just because, whatever reason, because he's a Northerner, or a Yankee, or Catholic. Or Irish, or whatever. Good looking, he's that bastard. He's got it all. I got 3 teeth and a Lone Star beer.
That's right. So, but I think that it's really important for us as people who are trying. Well, in my case, I hope to do it again. Who are trying to explain the truth and not the lies about what's going on in this Kennedy assassination stuff. And I only know one area fairly well, but I know how honest and dishonest it can be. What I'm trying to say, though, is why can't we all just get along? I mean, why can't everybody just get together and go, okay, this is what we know, this is what we don't know, and these are damn lies. Why does no one say that, y'all? Y'all are the young ones. Y'all need to do it.
It's the same reason. Everything else. Insert JFK assassination here. Insert aliens here. Insert Bigfoot over here. Insert DB Cooper. I mean, it's everything, Gayle. It's everything. There's always going to be.
But if you can verify it, y'all, it's a fact.
Right.
It's a fact. If it can be verified, it's a truth. It's a fact. And there's a difference between fact and opinion. And I think most of America has lost the differentiation. Is it just me or
No.
that's what I think.
No, and I think what you said earlier in terms of losing faith in government and how people back in your grandfather's time definitely had more of a faith in government. And then after, a few committees, church committee, HSCA,
Investigations.
yeah, the trust in government definitely has waned. And then today, when you get all this media, and whether it be left or right, whatever, we try not to get political on the show, but they're all telling lies.
That's all I've been.
They're all telling lies, and it's why people are going to alternative media and podcasts and YouTube and
people want real, Joe. They want real. People want real. I believe. I mean, do you guys not think so? They want to know how you really feel, not what you're getting paid to say, not what but how do you really feel, and what do you know, and how can that help us, right? And that's why we do these podcasts, and why am I wrong? Tell me if I am.
No, you're exactly right. That's why I do it, is because a lot of this genesis of this show was to right a lot of the wrongs, unmuddy some of the water, of all these fraudsters and people that have claimed this and claimed that over the years, to try to clean all that crap out of the story, then to where you can finally focus on the things you need to focus on, because there's so much white noise, black noise, green noise out there that, people new to the case get hooked on a fancy story like, Judy Baker love story, and think, well, she solved the case, and they believe her nonsense stories, of meeting Lee for romantic rendezvous and, in the hot New Orleans evening, you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
And it's Oswald. I mean, it's not like he was JFK. I'm sorry. I don't look at that man as good looking. I just look at him as a guy I'm glad I wouldn't have ever dated. You know what I mean? And if I did, I wouldn't brag about it. I mean, y'all aren't girls, so you don't know, but I wouldn't tell anybody I'd ever dated him. Please. They go, really, Gayle? All your tastes are on your buds. That's the only taste you've got, I think Oswald, I don't think Oswald was innocent to all of this. Now, let me just say that. I think he is innocent. I think he was a patsy, but I don't think, and it's just my own thoughts. I think he was aware of what was going on. That's why he freaked out and was scared half out of his mind, and it did the things he did. That's what I think. I mean, but I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I mean,
I think
that
there's
he's
definitely.
innocent.
All right, Rob, you can go.
Well, when it comes to everything that he's been accused of, no, and of course, there are reasons to believe that he did things for
For alphabet agencies.
Right. The defection is a big red flag.
Yeah.
Going to Mexico City is a big red flag.
The people they were surrounded with, the courts and the lords and the lawyers, that they had. These are big names. These aren't little, guys that are. They're not. The people that are around him, and the Paines and Morin Shields. I mean, think about it. It is very. If you look at the big picture, it would be like Forrest Gump jumping into all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he thought he was doing something other than what they were really setting him up for.
I do too.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. Exactly.
Only
And you know
because
what? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go.
I was just gonna say, only because of that weekend after he's arrested and he finds out at the midnight press conference, oh no, you have been charged. The look on his face, that's one. But even before that,
and what a great point.
Immediately
what a great
after
point.
The assassination, his actions immediately following that, it tells me that he knows something's up.
Mm-hmm. So if he knew something was up, does that mean that he was just thinking he was in a wrong place at the wrong time? Or, I got in a little too deep? I mean, I don't know. What do you guys, that's what I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, my theory is this, Gail. So real quick, and then I'll let Joe take over. But I've always thought, because of the Heidel alias, right? The AJ Heidel alias, and the fact that AJ Heidel was part of the Fair Play for Cuba committee in New Orleans, right? AJ Heidel is the one that ordered the rifle. Okay. The rifle that AJ Heidel ordered was found on the 6th floor of the repository where Oswald happened to be working. Okay. So either it's this gigantic, elaborate setup involving multiple moving parts, or it's just that simple. Okay. They could have told him, look, you know, we want to scare Kennedy into doing something about Cuba. So let's, you know, build this straw man named AJ Heidel, who's a Fidel Castro supporter, right? He ordered this rifle. The rifle's going to be found afterwards. You know, we're just going to shoot a couple of things and miss. Don't worry, nobody's going to get hurt. But the rifle's going to be found, and then maybe he'll be scared into doing something against Cuba. And that may have been simply what Oswald thought. But then when Kennedy actually got killed that day, he thought to himself, "Oh
whoa.
shit, you know? Yeah, like something went terribly wrong here. I need to get out of here and figure out what to do next." But Joe, go ahead.
To your point, you know, obviously the official story has Oswald leaving the TSBD, going back to his rooming house on Beckley, and then getting his handgun, right? Only to meet someone at the Texas Theater, or alleged to have going to meet a contact. If you had any notion of what was going to go down that day, there's no reason why you wouldn't bring your handgun with you, right? And
Good point too.
That's
a
the most logical.
Well, it was Texas. I mean, you know, it was Texas. Everybody here thinks it's still the freaking Wild West. Look, I don't have a gun, guys. Do y'all have guns? I don't have one. Do y'all? Do you not want to say? Don't want to say.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm, and honestly, as mad as I get, it's probably a good thing. You know,
I suffer from depression, so it's not a good idea.
No guns for you. But maybe you'll move to Texas, get you out of depression with Ruby. Bring Ruby with you.
That might do it, Gail. And
it could.
But yeah, I think there's something to what you said earlier when Oswald is probably not guilty of killing President Kennedy, but he might not be 100% innocent either. Right. He might have had some idea what was going on, which is kind of how we had that oh shit moment to feel that he needed to go back, to switch, get off the bus, take a cab, have it drop him off a couple blocks past the rooming house, see if anyone's in front. And then, you know, there's a lot of his movements that make you think that he was panicking in a sense. And you have to wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, well, we would all panic if we were in that situation. I mean, but to know, like you said, to run and grab a gun, to go to the Texas Theater, I mean, all of it is just, then you start finding out all these stories about the witnesses that were like Warren Reynolds. I feel really bad for that guy. I really do. And I talked to his sister for a real long time when I was writing, and I didn't add it to my book, and I might should have. She said that he had a lot of problems, and that he, right after the assassination, that General Walker befriended him. And so, yeah. And so then when Mark Lane interviewed my grandfather and then interviewed Warren Reynolds, did y'all notice that Warren Reynolds kept looking over, like where the camera, like towards the camera instead of straight at Mark Lane? Watch it sometime when you're bored. No. All right. That is General Walker that he's looking at. General Walker was there at the Mark Lane interview with Warren Reynolds.
And Gail, in your book, you have a little section in the General Walker chapter about Warren Reynolds was a Minuteman friend of General Walker's and a frequent visitor at home.
I did put it in there. See, I haven't read it, y'all. I haven't even read that book in 8 years. Oh my God. I said I did put it in there. I didn't even know I did. Okay. Oh my God. Well, I didn't put all of it. She said, did I put in there, Joe, that now should I say it? That
No,
he
it was a
built like
very
a fortress around his house with all these lights and security after he went into some sort of rehab, not drugs, but because this just tore him up. And his poor sister was so upset. She said he was such a good man and so nice. And after the assassination, everything was different. And I've heard that about a lot of people. You know what I mean? That
Getting shot in the head too probably changes.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about that? I mean, with Ruby's little friends all running amok down there at the same time, you know?
Dago was cleared of all charges.
Garner, wasn't there someone named Garner? Dwayne
That's
Garner?
him, yeah. That's his nickname.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Daryl Garner, yeah.
Now I don't feel so old anymore, y'all. I can't believe it just popped into my head. And I went, wait a minute. Isn't that? I'm always feeling old, Rob. Every day I go, oh my God, I'm 66. Oh my God, no.
I do a fantastic Dago impersonation.
Smoking weed. What?
I've gotten in trouble on this show for doing a very fantastic Dago impression.
Oh, do it. I want to hear it.
Oh,
you got it.
I have to have the interview in front of me.
Oh.
It's the interview that Daryl Garner did with Mark Lane. And I have it at work. I don't have it here at the house.
Yeah.
Like I printed it out. I was like, I'm saving this because I don't know if you've ever read it, but it is one of the craziest Mark Lane interviews I've ever read in my life.
You know what? I haven't, Rob. I don't. If I have, I don't remember. It's the weed again, I guess. No, it's not weed. It's not. That's not true.
I'll have to send you a link to it so you can read it. It's insane. You'll love it.
What? Why is it insane, Rob? Is he talking? Is he rambling like me?
He's all over the place. I love it. He's all over the place. He's telling Mark Lane all this crazy Jack Ruby sex stories, and it's just oh Lord.
Yeah, and his former girlfriend was a dancer at Jack Ruby's Carousel Club as well, right? Yeah.
That's the one that hung herself in the jail cell.
I'm telling you, and y'all, okay. Oh my gosh, I should have read my book before I got on this. The two officers, if I had Doug here, Rob, you'll know. I know you'll know. Doug would know right off the go. That were kind of sketchy, as the kids these days would say, were a little sus. And there were a lot of them in the DPD that were a little sus. You know,
was it Butler? Butler was one of them.
No, but he's another one. Ooh, someone needs to do a big old expose on Hit That Man. I'm telling you, someone needs to. Or yeah, okay. No, it was H. Okay, he married one of Jack Ruby's girls. They moved to California.
Harry Olsen.
There you go. That's who it is. I knew he lived catty corner from General Walker. Did you know that?
No.
Catty corner from the railroad where Oswald's gun. He lived there. And Robert Surrey lived. I'm sorry, not right. Larry Schmidt lived right across the street. Come on, guys. Come on.
Was that in Highland Park?
Turtle Creek area. It wasn't really Highland Park. Now, Robert Surrey lived in Highland Park.
Surrey lived
what?
in Highland Park?
Yeah.
Surrey lived in. And that's where a bunch of other people,
Rich
including I don't know.
Harold Bird. D.H. Bird.
Yes.
H.L. Hunt. No, H.L. Hunt had a mansion by White Rock Lake. Yeah.
Okay.
Whew. Y'all come to Dallas. Next time you come to Dallas, if you want to go on a little trip, I'll go show you all these places where they are. Yeah. I mean, no one. And I was so sick when Orrin Earnhardt, do y'all know him? He's such a nice man, and he's in the JFK community. It's such a nice man. Anyway, he came in last month, and I was so sick. And he came in, and he goes, Gayle, would you take us on a tour? And I said, sure. And I was too sick, and I couldn't do it.
Oh man, yeah. Joe, just don't take Joe on a scooter tour.
Yeah, no, that's so Joe.
Make him
How
ride
long
in.
did you have those bumps and bruises?
They're gone now.
Oh,
for
they
the
go
most
through.
part. There's a
Well,
little
it's been a
dark
year.
spot, but
Yeah.
You had them for like a month.
Do you want to know something?
Yeah.
No, I had them for like 6 months. Do you want to know something funny, Gail? So,
What?
Obviously, Doug and I are presenting at Lancer after
Yeah.
you. I think you're at 3 p.m. We're at 4 p.m. And as I'm still trying to finalize my hotel, because the Marriott is like over $200 a night. I don't want to drop like $700 on a hotel. And I'm looking for other hotels a little further that are cheaper. And I said to Doug, I can scooter from my hotel to your hotel to the conference. And he goes, no scootering before our presentation. And that is, of course, the mistake I made last year. I went out to get tobacco because I was nervous, and I crashed my scooter and was bleeding the rest of the day and during my Q&A. And I mean, it was fine. I'm known as Joey Scars because I have a few of them. But
Joey Scars.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound so good, fellas?
It's his mafia name,
yeah. It's my mafioso name. It's my mafioso name.
We need to introduce you to Robert Blakey. He has a thing about the mafia, and you could say that, hey, I'm Joey Scars. Have you heard about me? You know, Robert Blakey told me, Gail, if your grandfather's film came up missing during my tenure, I take full responsibility. I said, well, that's not doing me much good right now. But yeah, you could tell every president, and I told him that in 1990? So how many presidents did he get to tell between then and there? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
I soon told him to say, all right, Robert, get your wallet out.
Yeah.
You know,
he's convinced it was the mafia. Hey, you guys, did y'all? Oh, I want to call Jeff so bad, and I need to watch because I want to. This guy that Jeff Morley found, is he for real? Does anyone know about this story yet besides Jeff?
Are you talking about the recent quote bombshell?
Yeah, the CIA guy that used to work for the CIA or something, right?
Yeah, a story about a guy from a guy about a guy.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Somewhere.
It's not face to face. No. Oh, bummer. Yeah. I was going to get excited.
It's kind of. It was a little bit of a letdown, and we've talked about this in the show before. But and the gist of it is he had come across a CIA whistleblower who had gone into a skiff, secured compartmentalized information facility, looking for something other than JFK. It wasn't what he was looking for, but he saw a bunch of tapes and
see,
folders.
That was, of course, what was interesting to me. Yeah, you know, that's what I was interested in, is that part. And I didn't. All right, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just saying.
Okay. And apparently a document that said that the CIA was trying to actively deter and throw off the HSCA. That was it, right?
No, they wouldn't do that.
And I guess
a much better story if said guy had stuck the video cassette in his shirt and stole it out of the skiff and turned it over to Jeff Morley. That'd have been a much better story.
Oh yeah, but first off, that it was on a video, that was newer technology for the time. That means someone else had to have transferred it and done. And what was on the tape? What did he say was on there, y'all? Do you know?
Mexico. I guess Oswald in Mexico City.
In Mexico. Yeah. Now, you know that Father McCann told me there was no way he was there September 27th. He said, no way. I know for a fact he wasn't there. He was at the Galaxy Ball in Fort Worth.
Yeah. So actually, Gail, that's a great segue because you write.
Is that a gay bar?
What?
Was that a gay bar?
No, it was one of those hotsy-totsy, like junior league type places where everybody goes to raise money for whatever. I think it was mental health at that ball. Yeah.
Okay.
And Father McCann was upset because he didn't get invited by either Sylvia Odio or Lucille Cannell. That's what he told me. That's what he said. So.
Yeah, Gail. And actually, I had a question about this because I was reading about Father Walter McCann in your book, Pieces of the Puzzle and Thrology. And he was. Did I say that wrong?
You said it again.
No, I'm not going.
Anthrology.
Anthropology.
Yes.
and he was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gail, he was the head of the Cuban Catholic Relief Program, who was kind of responsible for placing some Cuban exiles in Dallas, but also had a lot of was also worked out of Miami as well, which of course we know a lot of the Cuban exiles are from. And he had some familiarity with Sybil. He was friends with Sybil Odio, and I don't know if that he decided that she was lying about seeing Lee Harvey Oswald on her doorstep.
Yeah. Well, no, he said it was definitely. Yeah, he was saying, y'all, I'm getting a bad connection. Are y'all with me? Am I cracking up? Because y'all are.
No, Joe sounds like shit, but you sound fine.
Okay. No. Okay, Joe. That night that the Leopoldo and you know what Doug and Rob think who those guys are, and I agree with them. I mean, that came to her home to Sylvia, y'all. Annie answered the door, the younger Odio, but they didn't come asking for Sylvia. They came asking for Sarita, and Sarita, her sister, was big in the DRE with Carlos Bringuet. I mean, and then Sylvia was in Jure, JURE, you know. Yeah, right. So, and Father McCann, I mean, he said, Gail, and then I went and looked to see if there was a ball that night, and Janet Lee, Jamie Lee Curtis's mom was in town, and that's why Father McCann wanted to go see her. Yeah, you know, it was all the 60s people. I was just talking about my grandfather and the Brat Pack and stuff. They were all really popular during that time. So, and he swears it was the 27th. It was a Friday, and yes, because they went and he didn't get to go. That's what he said.
Yeah, and do Rob and Doug? Are you referring to Lauren Hall and William Seymour?
I didn't want to, yeah, that's who I'm referring to. And who else? Now, wait, didn't Joe Mellon say one of them was Angel Morgado or something? Isn't that what?
Yeah.
Am I wrong, y'all?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I have no idea who the hell that is, but
I think that's a war name. Didn't they say that?
Look at you, Joe. You go with your bad self. Yeah, that's right.
It was some type of war name for something.
Now, someone told me, and I don't want to tell y'all who it was because he said, Gail, do not go interview that guy. And I said, why? Because, Gail, you'll get killed. And I said, if somebody was going to kill me, they'd have done it a long time ago. And not because of JFK stuff, because of my smart mouth. That's what would have happened. But they said that one of the massacrers lived in the apartment complex that Sylvia lived in on Davis. Have y'all heard that story?
No, please
indulge. Cuban massacrer Rolando. You know who I'm talking about?
Lauren Hall's buddies.
You are right. Lived in the same complex as Sylvia. That's right.
Huh.
On Davis. Yeah. I mean, there is so much more that could still be looked into and ask about this stuff. I mean, and the Oswald in Mexico is a big deal. I mean, that is. And I don't know. I tend to think it's a government. What's the word I'm looking for, Robin Joe? It's a government. I don't think that he was there at that time. Yeah, something. It's another one of those, I think. But I don't know. I don't know.
I think he was definitely impersonated for part of it.
Yes, I do believe he was impersonated. And I think.
And I'm 50-50 on whether he was actually there at all.
Right. That's how I am, Rob. And I tend to be more 60-40 that he wasn't. I mean,
yeah,
I do, but I don't know. I can't prove any. It's just based on everything else I know and have read and who I've talked to. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. And of course, it could have been both as well, right? He could have been there and impersonated as well. It's also a possibility.
That's right.
And if maybe he was photographed with someone coming in and out of the embassies that they didn't want to release the person with Oswald's photo, or they didn't want to give away their crown jewel, which was the Mexico City LI envoy.
But y'all, who is the they? I see, and I keep wondering. I mean, okay, so Peter Dale Scott, ingenious, smart man that he is, and and deep state. I mean, okay, but who do we think is giving the orders here? Or do we even care anymore? Does anyone even care anymore as to who was telling who?
It was either like people love to say rogue elements of the CIA, right? Or
I don't believe that anymore either. I'm sorry, guys, I don't.
I mean, it sounds to me like it was either more of a plot born out of an ideology, right? As far as these anti-Castro Cuban and Cuban exiles, were pissed about Fidel, about America, and they were frustrated because they could not kill Fidel. They could not take their country back. So, and Kennedy's not helping them. Kennedy didn't help them, and this was the only option. Because a lot of these guys
take him out. Well, okay, so I who told me years and years ago, it was one of the first generation researchers, you guys, that Gayle, you need to look at this as three separate things. There's a killing, there's the pre-show, I mean, how it was planned, and then of course there's the cover-up, and they are three separate things, and that's why everyone's having a problem getting them to connect. But I kind of think that we have the answers with all these books that have been written. If we could just take out the crap, because there is so much crap, and I may be one of them that did it too and didn't know it. I mean, I don't think I was, but it could be. But I didn't have an affair with anybody special. I was 5 years old. Yeah, you know what I mean? I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't. Even though I was there, I do get to say that. I just didn't get to see it.
We've been looking really hard lately, back at what was going on in New Orleans before the assassination, with Oswald, because I think that's where the plot was born out of.
I think there's something going on for sure. Garrison was not
like it had to be born out of New Orleans. It happened in Dallas, but it was born in New Orleans, and you have to somehow connect those. And we do have some very good connective tissue when it comes to people in New Orleans and people in Dallas. We got General Walker's a big one. And I actually have another question for you, Gayle. And this comes from one of our super spies, Trey. And his question for you is, he knows that you used to live in Dallas as well as Denton, and you're likely very familiar with the areas where he lives and works. And that is Plano, Texas. And he's asking, General Walker used to go shooting in an open field in Plano.
That's right.
Do you know where in Plano this was? He would like to visit some of these JFK related sites that are kind of off the beaten path, if you happen to know.
He is my kind of guy. I'm that kind of way too. And you know who told me that story was Robert Surrey's son, who is still alive. And I don't know, Trey. It's between Richardson and Plano, and I want to say there was a processing plant at some point there, and I don't know if it was like Owen's Sausage or Jimmy Dean, and the Surrey son told me it was near there, and I don't even remember a packing plant out north that far. I mean, there were in southern Dallas County, but when you got out to Collin, I didn't even think there were any during that time. So you might know better. I'm sorry. I wish I had an answer for you. But thanks for asking. Oh, good. I got somebody to ask me a question. And not say, will someone shut her up? Her voice drives me insane.
No, we love it. We love it.
Yeah, but somebody said that one time, and I was upset for a week. I was like, oh, my God, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to get a voice coach.
They're total assholes.
Not your listeners. Your listeners aren't that way.
No.
We got good people. We got a group of good folks here.
Yeah.
Yep. And in fact, Trey, who just asked the question, said such a shrinking violet, love her, as in you, Gayle. And
I'm not they tell him I love him for saying that too, because God, I'm as far from a shrinking violet as anyone could be. I would never be a wallflower either. If someone didn't want to dance with me, I would just go dance with them. Like, come dance with me. Come on. I mean,
yeah,
life's too short, guys.
Yeah. And I just start a couple messages as they come by really quickly. And Clay said, "Can't wait. Love Gayle and all she has done. You've got me hooked, guys. Been researching for 30 years and feel closer than ever." So we have gotten nothing.
Yay. Good stuff.
And Paul, our friend, said, "How old is Miss Gayle?" 35.
Oh my God. Ask him, give me his address so I can send him a really good gift for saying that. Oh my God. Tell him I feel 35, but I am far from it. I feel that way though.
All the comments have been tremendously positive.
That's our friend from Facebook, Paul Vines. You may have seen him.
Oh, he's so sweet. And I've never met him. Robert, are y'all friends? He's so nice.
Just Facebook friends, yeah. But a lot of.
But that's how we all met. Me and you and
Yeah.
Doug, right?
Yeah,
that's how we met. Don Roberto, that's how I met him. Facebook.
Yeah. And we got to thank John too for the super chat, and Paula as well came through with the super chat. So, and Paul paid $5 to say you're 35 years old now, Gayle.
Oh no, he paid for to say give me that compliment. Oh my God,
Yes.
I'm gonna rub it in my husband's face. I'm gonna go, hey, there's a guy that paid $5 to ask me if I was 35. And that'll do him in for the night, and it will make my week. Thank y'all. Thank you, Paul.
We do our listeners. They're awesome.
Oh no, I'm not awesome. I'm just mouthy, and I have so much I want to say, and I can't. But I will. If you guys will just ask me again sometime in the next few weeks. Ooh, I might can make it really good.
Sure. Well, of course, when you have
when you come into all that money, are you still going to talk to us? I mean,
are you kidding? I'm one of those people that will give it away, and you know it, Rob. You know it. I'm not. I'm not saying I wouldn't like going on a nice trip or something, or having a nice house and a gigantic party. Everyone clear your calendars when it happens. I swear. When it happens, I'm going to have the biggest truth party. Everyone that I want to be there, I'm going to fly them in if they can't do it on their own. Are you listening?
Ooh. It'll be the
Y'all, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
2025.
I'm going to
be there or be square.
That's right.
You won't be able to speak out on that one, Rob.
We're going to celebrate truth. That's what we're going to celebrate. Truth in every form it comes in. That's what we're going to do. And I will feel like I did something before I died if I can get this done. I will actually feel like, I do feel like I've done something because I had kids and I was a teacher and I was a professor and I've written books. So I feel, but this, I think it's going to make my grandfather so happy. I mean, I do. Yeah. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. Deserves it.
I'm so excited. I am really excited about this, y'all, because I think we do have a judge that honors truth. I do, and I could be wrong. Oh man, anything could happen here. Y'all know it.
Yes.
But I just got that impression.
It's all about the judge sometimes. It really is. It really is, and you see that in politics and so on. But
justice is supposed to be blind, guys. It's not supposed to have a party or a sex or a class or a color. It's not. It's supposed to be. What is that? The monkey, the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, but with justice is blind. I mean, there is something to all those things that are said, you guys, and justice is not really blind.
Innocent before proven guilty, Gayle, and that doesn't always hold up very well, though.
No, it doesn't. And my son is a bit of an activist about it. I mean, it's true.
Just ask
I live in Texas, so. All right. Well, now, Rob, why are you not coming? And Joe, I'm going to take care of you. I'll talk to you later. Because it will work something out. Rob, why are you not coming?
No, I just couldn't make it down there this year. I got too much stuff going on.
But that's good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's totally good. It's all good. Yeah. Yeah.
You're writing a book. You didn't even tell me you're writing a book, and I know you are, aren't you? You are. And if you're not, I will be your biggest cheerleader besides Joe to make you do it. You should. Doug should too.
It's just between this and work, and it's a very slow process.
And don't think you're going to get rich, babe. You are not. You know how much I made on that first book, the Missing JFK? Seriously. I wrote it in 2013. You know how much money I made? Because I paid for the printing. I had to pay my nephew back who helped me. I mean, my family helped me. I'm not rich. I am far from rich. Okay. So
$500,000.
seriously? Okay. It cost me for both because I ran 3 editions of it, and that makes me happy too that I sold that many, and that still wasn't very much. It cost me over 12 or 13.5. I'll have to ask my husband. He would know. Here's how much I've made, guys. Are you ready?
Ready.
You won't believe me. You won't. $4,000. Since 2013. You don't get rich doing this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I didn't really, it was self-published. I didn't really market it. I mean, I can blame myself a lot for that stuff. You know what I mean? But I didn't do it for any other reason than hoping somebody would help me and knew something about my grandfather's film. That's really the reason I wrote it, you know? So.
Well, hopefully one day you can do the updated version that needs to be done and give the book a very happy ending.
Won't it be? Won't it be?
And you can promote the hell out of that.
And I wanted to say this, and I know I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway. It is odd to me that the Nix film is missing and why. I mean, but if you look at, okay, well, if the Nix film is missing, what would corroborate it? What would corroborate? Well, the autopsy photos, right? They're missing the ones from Parkland. Y'all?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And the dicta belts and the White House tapes from the White House communications bus that was down there by the Adolphus that day. There's so much, guys. All that is missing. And if you look at it in just a little microscope, they all connect. All of them. I mean, my grandfather's film, the dicta belts, the autopsy. I mean, just think about it. All of it fits together. And why didn't I notice that when I was writing these books? How dumb am I? You know what I mean?
Well, don't forget this image, Gayle, right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at it. Jones Harris, that's what he went to bat with that one. He just knew he had found the extra shooter in Pawpaw's film. But Zapruder is going, why? I mean, wouldn't Zapruder have seen him? I mean, that's the part that's always, I'm thinking, there were people there. How could no one have seen that if that was what that was, right?
Yeah. Now, I mean, it could be Gordon Arnold. It could be
exactly
a shooter.
And Rob iTech, who we found out, of course, years later, was a CIA operated. Oh my God, iTech. Yeah, iTech sent the government sent Pawpaw's film to the Nix film to iTech, and they said it was nothing more than shadows and leaves. That in shadows and leaves. I'm sorry, that is not. It is. Not. It's shadows and leaves. No.
What's interesting, so when you compare and contrast, okay, let's see again. This photo,
right,
which is almost identical to the Mormon photo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you don't really see that.
No, you don't.
Mormon photo, but I'm guessing it's kind of like an angle thing, you know?
It could be that, but I'm gonna tell you, Pawpaw, my grandfather said, all right, y'all are looking at that I don't back there, the fence. See the fence back there? That's where he said they came from, down the fence line.
Right.
I know.
And that's where the railroad workers, let's say they came from as well.
Right. Yeah. That's right. So, you know, I don't know. He had no reason to lie, you guys. And then when in 67, when CBS did their thing and my grandfather thought he was going to get to meet Walter Cronkite, and I said, Pawpaw. I mean, I was only a kid. I wasn't even 10. I don't think. I was smart mouth. I'm telling you. And I said, Pawpaw, I don't think Walter Cronkite is going to come down to die. Gayle, he may be there, and I want you kids to meet him. So he took my brother and my sister and myself down there, and they kept asking him, Orville, where did the shots come from? And he'd say, well, they're at that stockade fence. I mean, because my grandfather had a bit of a Texas accent, kind of like me. And they were like, cut. And as a little kid, I remember that. I remember thinking cut because I didn't know what movie terminology was. I didn't know if that was bad. But when you hear the word cut, you don't think good things. You know what I mean? You don't at any age.
So keep seeing that, you know?
Yeah. And so and he was so upset afterwards because he felt like they were trying to make him look stupid. And you know how you men are.
Orville,
We
we
are
need
that
to
way
see
too
that
as
building
women.
over there. That's where they came from.
Yeah, and I mean he's telling the truth. And he goes, "Why are they trying to make me say something that I don't want to say?" I said, "I don't know. I mean, but I felt bad as a little kid watching my grandfather. Again, here's the slam at you men that I love. I love men, but." You know how you are with your pride. You all know how you are with your pride. And we as women, we have it too. I was all worried about being on this and having makeup on and fixing my hair. I mean, we are. So I don't know. I mean, you got to take all of that in consideration too. How much of this is pride? How much of it is truth? How much of it do they want to be famous like other people within? Why would anyone want to be famous over JFK? Ask me. I don't get that either. Why do you want to act like it's a terrible, terrible thing, the death of this president? You know?
Did Orville go before the Warren Commission?
No.
They didn't ask him to come before the Warren Commission?
And no.
But they knew of his film by then, for sure.
Yeah.
They had it.
Is it because they knew he would say that he thought the shots came behind?
I really don't know, Joe, and that's a wonderful question. I mean, he did talk to the Secret Service and the FBI Abernathy in Dallas, but never did he talk to anybody from the Warren Commission or, well, the House Select Committee. He was dead by then, so he wouldn't have. But no one called my grandmother or my dad because I asked them when I was writing. When I found out the film was missing, I asked my dad and my grandmother. And my grandmother died shortly after that, too. She died in 1990. So, yeah.
So when he was taking the film, you kind of mentioned this before, but he's kind of running across. I mean, he didn't have the camera like up to his eye. He's watching what's going on. Right?
He is squeezing, Rob. He was so scared. And back to the pride thing, y'all. My grandfather was 6'7". I mean, he was huge, a very, very tall.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was scared, and he was clenching his keystone because it had that grip on it where you made it go by squeezing it. Out of fright, more than taking pictures, he didn't have his eye up there, not at all, y'all. He didn't even know he had footage until they called him that night. He didn't know. He thought he knew he had Ralph Yarbrough. That's what he knew. Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
and we know what he was looking at because that's the director was running, and his camera picked it up. But he was an eyewitness to the assassination,
and that's why it was odd. Mark Lane talked to him. I mean, obviously, Bernie Birnbaum, a lot of the CBS people and national people talked to him, and I begged for those CBS outtakes from that show. They said they were missing. Because I used to say, y'all, I can prove it. If you look at those outtakes, I remember that as a kid, that they were making him say something else. That's what they were doing. Yeah, but they're gone, they say. See?
Well, Rob, I think you have something queued up, but one of our loyal listeners, Gayle, James, just asked, do we have any filmed interviews with Mr. Orville Nix?
Mark Lane.
I believe Rob has one ready. Just ask James, and you shall receive.
Thanks for asking, James.
This is a 3-minute clip of Gayle's grandfather, Orville Nix, getting interviewed here by Mark Lane. So here we go, folks. I think it has sound as well, and it'll probably automatically mute us here while it plays. But we'll be back in 3 minutes. Check out Orville Nix.
Thank you.
Mr. Nix, where were you on November 22nd, 1963?
Standing on the corner of Maine and Houston.
And did you take any pictures of the presidential limousine as it went through Dealey Plaza?
Yes, I've taken pictures before and after, before the assassination and during the assassination.
And you know, of course, that your pictures were eventually used by the government to determine where the limousine was when some of the shots were fired.
Yes.
And did you deliver a copy of your film to the federal government?
Yes, I delivered a copy of my film to the federal government about December the 1st.
About a little over a week after the assassination.
Yes, my film got lost in the processing plant.
Where is the original film?
The original film belonged to United Press International. The government has a duplicate copy.
And where is that duplicate copy?
In the archives.
And is that the duplicate copy which was used by the Warren Commission for the purpose of determining, along with other films, the Muchmore film and the Zapruder film, where the presidential limousine was when some of the shots were fired?
I would say so.
Well, you now have a copy of your film, which you were kind enough to show to us this afternoon. Is that copy the same as the original which you gave to the FBI on December 1st?
I would say no. There's some films maybe missing, some frames. Some of the frames were ruined.
Does the film which you have at the present time have the same number of frames as the film which you delivered to the FBI on December 1st?
I would say no, but it's because of losing maybe a frame here and there.
At the time the shots were fired, did you look at the book depository building?
No.
Did you think at that time that the shots came from the book depository building?
No, I thought it came from a fence between the book depository and the railroad track.
Does anyone else who you know or who you've spoken with also believe that the shots came from there?
Most everyone thought it came from the fence behind the book depository.
Did you have occasion to speak with Forrest Sorrells, who was, of course, a friend of yours, and the Secret Service agent in charge of Dallas that day?
Yes, I did.
Did he tell you where he thought the shots came from?
He thought they were coming from the same place.
Which is?
Behind the fence.
At the present time, where do you believe the shots came from?
Well, they came from the book depository because there's proof that it did come from there.
I see. This you've read in newspapers and you've read the report?
Yes.
Good little American citizen, wasn't he? Our
Yep.
government said it, so it's got to be true, you know?
Yeah,
Now,
and
the
seems
part
like a
where he-
solid dude, James
Right.
said.
Yeah, but you know that he said that some of those frames were ruined. Ruint. And I'm like,
Yes.
Papa, how do you know they were ruined? I mean, I don't know I never understood when he said that. How were they ruined?
He said a couple might be missing. So that's
Well, he thought that, but y'all, the first time he saw the film when he was talking about, that weekend, he was watching, and I'm sorry, y'all, I don't mean to offend, but it used to be called this midget wrestling. Now, I know we're not supposed to use the M word. I know. But that's what it was called on TV, and he watched it every Saturday night. And after work, if he had to work it, they called him to come down to pick up his film. Well, he wanted to see it. Well, they didn't have a projector, which makes no sense to me. I mean, it was a developing plant, but they played it on the white wall. So he and my dad, who my grandfather had enlisted to take down there with him to go see the film, were just amazed. I mean, he couldn't believe. And the first thing he said, you guys, oh my gosh. Well, they paid Zapruder $25,000 for his. Mine's got to be at least worth half that. And now I can retire and your grandmother doesn't have to work at Wyatt's anymore. I mean, that is what he was thinking about. You know what I mean? It wasn't that the kid, I mean, I don't mean to say this way, but it's true. It wasn't that JFK had just been shot, but it had taken a film the capitalist way, guys. Zapruder had made lots of money, so it meant that maybe he would too.
It's like hitting scratch off lotto ticket,
Right. That's what it was. Yeah. That he just happened to, but it really.
But then they looked at his ticket and said, "Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
not a winner."
Yeah, that's what UPI. That's what Time Life said. It's a nuisance film. We'll give you $3,000 buy. And my grandfather, James Wagenborg, told me that when my grandfather stood up when they said that to him, James Wagenborg was just a kid. I mean, I think it was like 23 or 24. Joe, how old are you? You're young too.
He ain't that young.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you're
30.
older than? Are you in your 30s or 40s?
I'm 38. I'm 38.
No way.
He dyes his hair and beard.
Thank you,
Rob. How about Rob? You're older than that.
I do.
I am.
All right. Okay. Well, anyway, this guy, James Wagonboard, who now has passed away, and
Love that guy.
and you love him, Rob. You met him. You love him.
Yes, great guy.
Oh,
very fun to be around. Very down to earth.
Smart.
Full of
Knew
stories.
all these people. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He knew John Steinbeck was his neighbor. Stop it. Stop. I mean, hey, John Steinbeck, you want to go down to Starbucks and have a coffee? I mean, Starbucks wasn't around there, but you know what I mean? I mean, he's hanging out with John Steinbeck and Andy Warhol. Stop it. Well, anyway, he's the one that met my grandfather and my dad when Time Life called, to buy the film. So my grandfather and my dad are sitting up there, and there's C.D. Jackson and what is Chapin, Harry Chapin, his dad, and Mary Chapin Carpenter, their dad, worked at Time Life too. Did y'all know that?
No, didn't know that.
Do you know who Mary Chapin and Harry? I'm old. 60s music, If any of your listeners, I bet they know.
Is she related to him? Karen?
Yeah. They're related. Those singers are related to an exec with Time Life. But anyway, James told me, and my mom and my dad and my grandfather had said the same thing. That they all gathered together and watched Papa's film over and over and over. And James said he thought for sure they were going to buy it because they would have all the assassination footage. At least they thought they did. And he was surprised when they said this is a nuisance film. And it made my grandfather so mad. He stood up, and James said that you could see his knuckles. It started turning red from his fist all the way up to his face. That's how mad he was. Yeah, He goes, no, sir, we're gone. We're going back to Dallas. And off they went. And there at the bottom of the stairs was Burt Reinhardt and Reese Schoenfeld from UPITN waiting for my grandfather because they had seen the film, so they wanted it.
Gayle, how did your grandfather know Forrest Sorrells?
From his work, he worked for the General Services Administration as a janitor, which was really the air conditioner guy. He was there, and Forrest Sorrells, his office was in the same building, so they all played golf together. And my grandfather thought he was so cool, because here he was in basic janitor, really. I mean, playing golf with Forrest Sorrells and all the other rich people in Dallas, the oil guys and all them, they were, I guess. I mean, I don't know. He never mentioned any of those. I just knew that there were doctors and lawyers. And in the summers, he would take my sister and my brother and I to the swimming pool there at the club. And we thought we were so hot, so that's how he became friends with him. Man, Forrest Sorrells they were really good friends. And Forrest did tell him that he thought that the shots came from the knoll. He really did. And so.
Well, that was the alert that came out of that front car that Forrest Sorrells was riding in, and Jesse Curry. I think that's what they thought originally. Yeah.
Right.
The shots were coming from the knoll.
Doug told me that he goes, Gayle, I don't want you to get upset with me, but I don't know if shots came from the knoll. I said, well, that's okay, because I don't know either. I mean, that's why we're trying to find the film, but I'm not going to be upset with you. What truth is truth. You know what I mean? I mean, whatever is I know that that said it came from the South Knoll. There's a whole contingent of people that believe that story too, and it may be. I mean, Sherry Feaster, she concluded that in her book, didn't she? Yeah. Yeah. She was nice. Yeah.
Yep. Great lady too.
So many people have passed away, y'all. And Jones, I guess that Jones Harris did too. I mean, just several. James Jones, David Lifton. I mean, well, Harold Weisberg's been gone for a while. Mark Lane. I mean, there's so many of them. Jerry Polikoff. Man, have y'all noticed that there's not very many women in this community? Have y'all noticed that, or is it just me?
No, you're right. But what is it? At least was it 2 or 3? Or speaking at Lancer this year?
Really? Who? I haven't even.
Well, that's a great segue because I have it pulled up right now, and I figured we are presenting at Lancer. We go over the little schedule, and of course, guys, use code
Sarah
10 for your 10% off your conference tickets. This is the Friday schedule. Mike Swanson and 3 p.m. Sarah Jordan Heinz.
She's talking about Dorothy Kilgallen, Gail.
Oh, I've never met her. I've never
Me
met
either.
Sarah Jordan Heinz.
I think she's doing it virtually. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Brian Edwards, Casey Quinlan, then a
Mm-hmm.
dinner and special presentation. And I might be biased, but on Saturday might be the best day because you have to start the day, you have Dick Russell, Will O'Halloran, Jacob Hornberger, Bob Nelson, Paul Blow, Jeffrey Meek, David Boyland, 2:30, friend of the
David
show.
Boylan, he's a man. We love David Boylan.
We love he is amazing, and he's been helping out Doug and I with our presentation.
He's
and
such a smart, kind. He is so humble. I love that man and his family. They're so sweet. His wife and his kids. He is a wonderful man.
they came last year to support him because I think it was his first in-person conference.
And it was the first I got to meet him in person.
Yeah, I sat with his family almost all weekend because of Doug, pretty much. And
Doug, he's the man.
Yeah, of course, yes. And between you and Doug, you made me feel at home, and that's why Lancer, and this is not bullshit, anyone. It is the best conference. I went there knowing not a soul, Gail, not a soul.
Really?
And
you knew Doug though, right?
I left with a ton of friends, including you, and I'm so happy. So at 2:30, there's Carmine. 3 p.m. there is Gayle Nix Jackson. Topic TBA. I know it's a little dependent on what the lawyer is going to tell you, so I'm not going to ask you to expand on that now.
Thank you, Joe.
4 p.m. Doug and yours truly. And after that, Mr. Bill Simpich. And how great is it?
Simpich! Look at him. He's a TBA too, isn't he?
Yeah. I think so. It might be on the Lancer website. This is a few weeks old, but and then we have the banquet dinner, which we'll be excited for. And on Sunday, also a packed schedule: Gary Fannin, Daniel Sheehan, Andy Keel, lunch break: Fred Litwin, Alex Harris.
Oh, there's Fred Litwin. There it is. Oh, there's Alex. He's a sweet little kid.
Yeah. He was on a couple months ago.
Yeah.
You have Larry Hancock and David Boylan with another presentation.
Man, you don't want to miss that one.
No, Matt Dowit. Did I say that wrong?
Dowit.
I always say it wrong every week. Oh. It's Brett Holland, Robert and Janet Groden, and Paul Blow.
Wait a minute, Brent. I didn't know Brent was going to be there. Who was the last one? Paul Blow. I didn't know Brent was going to be there.
It says virtual.
He's a nice guy.
It says virtual.
Oh,
so I don't.
Yeah, he's a Canadian. I don't think he's going to come down.
I think it would be cool if he did. I mean, it would be cool. He's a nice.
So there you have 3 women speaking this year just at Lancer.
Yeah. Yep. And guys, if
truthful women, not like if you go to the other cuckoo, what I call the cuckoo conference, where several women will speak, but it's all lies.
Okay, what conference is it? I don't even know, y'all.
Judy Baker's conference is going on while this one is going on.
Oh, well, what's the name of hers? I don't even know.
I don't
Does
even
it have
know.
a name, or is it Judy Baker?
AFK Assassination Conference.
Oh,
LLC.
They do have a name, yeah.
And the Kappa conference is going to be going on as well down there. All these are at the same time this year, so there's going to be
it
should be fun at Gilly Plaza at 12:30 on Friday afternoon. That's all I'm going to say.
What?
Yes.
12:30 Friday afternoon. What?
Yeah, you say hi to Judy for me. She'll be there.
I'm
She'll
not
be
gonna
leading,
go. I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna be there. No.
She'll be leading the moment of silence and the
I
prayer.
don't do all that stuff. No, and I
come
don't
on,
go see at a grave site. I don't.
Beverly Oliver is going to be singing the national anthem. It's great,
y'all. Making money off a terrible, horrible. Okay, and I know people are going to say that about me. Well, what about you, Gail? You're suing the government. Well, it is not about the money, even though my family hates it when I say that. I mean, they hate it because they know it isn't about the money with me. I want to know why they took my grandfather's film and why did they keep it this long? That's what I want to know.
It's
Yeah,
personal.
you know what I mean? But
it's personal. It's not about money. And
there has to be a reason.
But y'all, I'm not going to act like it's not, because it is to other members of my family. So I'm not going to act like, but for me, as Gayle Nix Jackson, I want to know for my grandfather why. and it upsets everybody when I do it. But oh well. I mean, y'all would do it too. You know you would. You know you would.
Sure, for sure.
But my lawyer says, "Why did you do it all these years?" And I said, "Because I couldn't get an answer from anyone." I mean,
Yeah,
I
it takes a
don't give
while
up
to
easily.
try to figure out these things, and when you
Right.
finally can't get a goddamn straight answer from anybody, then
Right.
well, let's make them give us a straight answer.
Right.
You know?
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. And there's so many people that say, "Well, why did you waste your life this way?" Well, I don't think I wasted my life, first off. And secondly, because this is a big answer. This
is bigger than money.
It is to me. To me, it is. And
a lot of us.
Yeah.
And if it comes with a lot of that, that's an added bonus. That's what we call that. You know?
I mean, that's the way I'm going to look at it. If this
And
is
it's
the
life
way,
changing, really. It could be legitimately life changing.
right? And if it is, thank you, God, because it's all the man. It ain't making me just want to keep doing this and doing this with every door slamming in my face, y'all. Every single one of them, and people taking advantage of you and coming out of the woodwork and doing. Ugh, it's so yucky. It's like living in a New York subway with rats running around on your feet, and it's damp and there's sticky popcorn crap like in a movie. It's what I think about when I think about people act when they get on. Well, you're only doing this for the money. You're an idiot. I mean, must wear a tinfoil hat. Oh yeah, I mean, I do all that. I'm such an idiot that I'm such a sheeple that you can just lead me around. No. That's why I've been doing it this long, because I don't believe what I'm told. And they can't prove it. So prove it, and then I'll be okay. My family.
And before we let you go, because we've been on for almost an hour 40, I wanted to ask.
I didn't even notice. I told you that would happen. I told you that would happen.
Hey, we go 2 hours every Friday off the cuff usually. Okay. So you are not doing anything that isn't expected on the Long Game podcast. But I wanted to ask a question on General Walker or two, because I know you had a couple chapters in your book. And guys, this is Gayle's most recent book, Pieces of a Puzzle, and
it's old.
Yes, I'm not going to pronounce it. And not only did you sign it, Gayle, our friend and cohort, we call him
Dougie.
BSD, Big Swinging D, Douglas Campbell, also signed it. And it was one of my most prized possessions coming or acquisitions that I came back from.
And can I throw this in there, you guys, y'all? Really, if you don't know, I'm just gonna say it. Every one of those people that wrote chapters in my book, they didn't get paid. They got books because I didn't get paid. I mean, we did that. It wasn't a moneymaker, is what I'm trying to say. None of us did it trying to make money and get famous and popular. What we did it for was to say, look, this is what we know. These are all the facts we know, and y'all take it from here. And thankfully, in the General Walker, at least in my Greg Dudna, am I saying his name right, or is it Dowdna? How do you say it, y'all?
I say Dudna.
Duty?
Dudna.
Oh, I thought you said duty. I was like, what? It's like howdy duty. Yeah, I mean, he ran with it because he sees it too. And there's another man that I'm not going to share his name, but he is a well-known author who is all over the American Nazism with Surrey. And that makes me so happy that I found those things, and other people are going to take it and find out more. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. That's what critical thinking does. It opens up a world for everyone. And those of us who don't have time to, or y'all, I mean, to do it all. And there's still much more to be found, y'all. So much more. So I'm sorry.
For sure.
Ask me about
sure.
Walker.
I have a couple kind of quick hit type of questions. And you don't have to expand on these. The General Walker shooting, do you think it was staged?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, all the way. Yes. it was staged in I've talked to too many people that were there that said it was. And Dick Russell wrote in The Man, what was his book called, y'all? Oh my God, I'm so bad. Yeah. He said that Larry Schmidt told him that he was out there with Oswald shooting at him. And I was like, I remember reading that book and saying, why is anybody even writing another book? Here's the answer to the whole assassination. But it wasn't, because I talked to Larry Schmidt before he died. He died too. No.
And his brother was like, didn't he replace William Duff? Or
Batman. Batman. Yeah.
William Duff.
That was General Walker's
who was living at Walker's house and being his chauffeur. And I guess sometime after or before the Walker shooting, he was fired. And I guess Walker and Surrey and a few people were kind of theorizing if William Duff was possibly the one that shot at him at first. And you bring this up in your book. You can tell me what I'm getting right and wrong with that. But
you're right. You're right about all of it. That's how it all went down. Is that what you're asking me, Joe, baby? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, and then the replacement was that guy's brother.
Right.
His
now,
brother.
Do y'all know about Robbie Schmidt? Do you, Rob? Has anyone ever studied Robbie Schmidt? Because he was in the Army too, but he was living in Hawaii when Larry called him and said, "Look, General Walker needs a chauffeur." He came all the way from Hawaii to Dallas to be, the Walker's Noodle side piece, I guess. Hell, I don't know. I don't know.
He must have been paying good.
Rumor from the Surrey people and the. That's what, and I said, you guys don't know. Well, we thought so. The reason why the Batman William Duff guy got fired is because Robert Surrey's wife, Mary, also was General Walker's secretary. And she saw some kind of being gay in the 60s, stop it. No, and nobody, come on. J. Edgar Hoover was still in the closet when everybody knew that he was the Lindsey Graham of all of us. I mean, come on. So,
yeah, I think like 99% of New Orleans was gay, and,
right.
And the only really out was like Clay Shaw.
Well, there you go.
Everybody else had a beard on. They had wives and playing both sides
but Rob, don't you think it's odd and or maybe it's not odd, maybe it was the times that we're always talking about the history. If you're looking for someone to set up, you go for someone with the deepest secrets, whether they be gay, whether they be a hooker, incestuous, I just any of those things. It would make them look terrible in culture.
Garrison was gay.
I didn't know that. Garrison was gay.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, he twice was investigated.
Well, I thought that Kevin Costner was married to Sissy Spacek in the movie. How could he have been gay?
He was married and had kids, but he was also accused of touching like a 12-year-old boy at the club.
I didn't know that, y'all. I really didn't know that.
He was charged and investigated by a grand jury, and they found
no way
not persecute him. Yeah, and then in that book that came out last year, for the pipe the bimbo in red.
Oh yeah.
They interviewed Dean Andrews' son,
yeah,
and he said Garrison touched him inappropriately.
I read that because I read it before they published it, so I don't remember that. Oh my God, I am so too many things have happened to me.
It's okay. So next quick hit question.
You never know.
Was General Walker homosexual?
Oh yes, please. Yes, please. Yes. And he was from his little.
You read it in your book.
Oh yeah. Did I write it in there? Did I say that?
Yeah. I think you.
I did. No wonder everybody wouldn't read it because I did that. I said that. I don't remember the exact words. I think you alluded to it. I don't. Oh, okay. That's more me.
Outright,
to do that.
Right? Yeah.
Because I couldn't prove it, other than he had 2 arrest records for fondling men in a restroom at a known gay area of Dallas twice, not once, twice. So, yeah, he was. He was. And Mary Surrey, she was worried that if they have the John Birch meetings, that if they found out that Walker was gay, that they wouldn't make as much money. I mean, the Surrey boys would tell me they would get up in the mornings before school, and there would be like plates, like at churches, you know, the communion plates full of money from the Bircher meetings, and it was just laying around all the place. I keep having these views of a Hugh Hefner Playboy type mansion at John Bircher and the Nazis. I mean, it just is so surreal if you think about it. You know what I mean? And this, y'all, when they sold the Surrey household, when they sold it, the lady that bought the home called the Surrey family and said, "Why is all this electronic stuff up in our attic?" And the FBI were bugging them. I mean, it was all still up there in the Lindenwood, I think it was, a home. It was all there. So
even though Surrey was bridge partners with Hosty, you're saying the FBI still was bugging.
So come on. Come on, you guys. Don't tell me that there wasn't something. You know this is all connected. It has to be. I mean, doesn't it? All these people that are, you know, somebody's saying something. Oh, yeah, Billy Hargis. That's right. Walker's suspect. Yeah. Yeah. And the Midnight Tour with that. And I think that guy was gay, too. The one that he looks like, what was his name? He had dark hair. The Midnight Riot is what the name of their little crusade was.
That was Billy James Hargis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they went on that tour almost right after the shootings, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the grifting we see now when candidates or now president-elects get things happen to them and they say, "Okay, I'll sell you this Bible for $60, or I'll give you these gold shoes for $400." Or I mean, it was just a grift.
Money
is
making.
what it was. You know? It's disgusting. How do you take advantage of people like that? It's disgusting, you know? All right, I'm
People
sorry.
were naive back then. People were so naive back then and believed.
We still are, Rob.
You're right.
Are.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm
And last one, Gayle.
Gonna be there. I'm glad Joe's gonna be there. I am so happy. Yay. Rob, you got to be next year.
I'm gonna try.
Okay, I'll help you, Rob. If things
I will
work
try
the
my
right way.
hardest to get. I will try my hardest to get him there as well.
I'll get him there if things work out, Rob. What?
I want to go through a list of visitors, of distinguished guests, and I think you said this in your book, from the lowest of the low types to kind of very high end type of people that were visiting General Walker at 4011 Turtle Creek Boulevard, and that included Jerry Patrick Hemming, Felipe Vidal Santiago, Billy Hargis, Warren Reynolds, Roy Hargraves, Lauren Hall, Lawrence Howard, and Rob Jack Martin were reported, and among others. I'm missing a few, but his house was kind of like a rotating door of
mischievousness. I mean, think about it: gun running, recruiting for whatever. I mean, and this is a general of our army, y'all. And when he wasn't doing this stuff, he was up in Arkansas or somewhere trying to keep blacks from going into white schools. Really? I mean, do we not have enough crazy people in Texas? I mean, thankfully Georgia took us over a little bit, in a while, but Texas craziness out here. If you watch any ID TV, and I know this because my husband watches it all the time, it's always a Texas story. The people in Texas are crazy. I mean, they are crazy. I'm from here, about 5th, 6th, 7th generation Texan. I mean, I'm related to some of them, I think, crazy people in Texas.
I swear, man, like back then, like it was, especially New Orleans, but even Dallas too. It seems like everybody knew everybody.
Oh yeah, now that's true. That is true.
It was
crazy. So much smaller though, Rob. Dallas in '63 was not the Dallas of 2024. I mean, so yeah. And if you think about it, all the rich oil ladies, come on. Neiman Marcus, I mean, it was the flagship of the whole North Texas, and Richard Marcus on the World City Council. And there was lots of stuff going on during the 60s in Dallas, I think that's maybe why it was chosen. Or maybe it was because it was LBJ's, I don't know. All his little buddies had office buildings. Mary Farrell letting her car be used in the motorcade.
Yeah,
you know,
great.
I mean, I don't know. I if you look at all of it and try and look at it without knowing who all these people are, I'm telling y'all, we've got the answer somewhere. I know we do. We've just got to figure it out. I know that the answer's there. I'm
just
trying
like
to help we find the film.
to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Right. It's there.
It's the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking about the case. I mean, I say it on the show all the time. You're putting puzzle pieces together. Sometimes
That's
they fit.
what I tried to
they
do with
don't.
that book. And Rob, do you remember when I wrote that book and I said, okay, I'm going to have three. That'll be the first one. There'll be a second. There'll be a third. No, I've run out of juice to do that. But I do think there's going to be a second one once we find out what's going on. So I'm letting you guys know, you want to write a chapter for this book, you know you have to deal with me. And that's not always the most fun thing to do. But just don't do anything, you know, that would make us all look stupid. And that's all. I that's all I ask. But I would love it if y'all wrote a chapter for it. I'm telling you, I'm going to do it. But I know you're writing a book, Rob. I know Doug's writing a book. Joe, what about you?
I'd probably piggyback on their operations, probably.
Okay, well, you wouldn't write a chapter for my book?
No, I'd say you said their book, so I said their operations. Of course,
it'll be with a foreword from Joe Borelli.
Yeah, see there, James Wagonboard did the last one, just so you know.
Yeah,
you would be in good company.
Yeah.
And Gayle, before we go, why don't you tell everyone where they could order your most recent book, Pieces of the Puzzle?
Is it not on Amazon anymore? I don't even pay attention to that. So how bad am I? Seriously, how bad am I? This is why I don't make money. I don't pay attention to this stuff. Is it still on Amazon? I don't even know.
It is.
It? Oh,
it is.
That's how you do it. Or
when I looked earlier, it
said
there was only one copy left, though.
I only have a box left of at home. So if you I don't have any more unless I print some. Yeah. So if you want one that's signed, you got to buy it from me. But they'll do the paperbacks and all that stuff where you don't need to spend a lot of money, you know?
Yeah. And there's always the Kindle version, right?
Yeah, that's right. And there's always me with this voice upsetting everybody. Get her off. Get her off.
No, we definitely have fun with you, Gayle, for sure.
Yeah, I love you guys. I love you. And thank your I almost said customers. Thank your listeners for being so kind to me. Thank you guys. You knew I was neurotic and insecure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you, Joe, in the next few weeks. And Rob, you got to be there next year.
I will work on it. I'm already starting to work on it. So hopefully we can make that happen. And,
good. And thank y'all for asking me to be on your show. That's so sweet.
Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Love you, Gayle, and wish nothing but the best for you and everybody out there. Get your prayers going. Hopefully
please. Yes.
For you.
Yes. And thank you. I love you guys. And any questions in the future, call me up.
All righty. And before we go, Gayle, we have Dean Andrews. Okay. We have Big Dino. He always ends our show for us. We're going to have a little dance party with Dean Andrews. It's like a minute long. And then we are out of here. But yeah, so Dino, again, Gayle, thank you so much. You were a pleasure.
And thank you, Joe.
Can't wait to see you soon.
Yep. And Joe, we'll see you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Dino, take it away, bud.
King Parish Prison. He dare not talk for the record, but he said, "Come to Bourbon Street and I'll show you what I think of the case." The greatest lies are told in the name of truth. The greatest crimes are committed in the name of justice. The quotation is Jim Garrison's. It could be used for him or against him in this strange case. Good night.
there's the awkward ending where we get caught dancing. Peace, everybody.
Have a great weekend.